Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Tracking some more snowflakes, a noticeable change, a little snow on tap and feeling the wind chills.
Plus, remembering a legend, public visitation for Mike Ilitch is underway at the iconic Fox Theater that he and his wife helped to restore some decades ago. You are looking live at that memorial that's taking place right now. Meantime, people are lined up on the other side of the building preparing to head in as it gets underway right here at noon, right there at the Fox Theater. And we are following breaking news developments as well out of the west side of Detroit. That is where state police have busted a fentanyl lab. And we have learned that one man has been arrested and 4 children were removed from this home. This is the scene. This is right on the 8400 block of Beaverland Street near Telegraph. This is on the far west side. Sean Lay has been tracking this story for us. And Sean, do we know why the kids were there in the first place and up to speed on what exactly police found there?
They were simply living inside this home, which is completely been deemed unlivable. Let me show you the scene here. Parkland and Beaverland, as you say. So many hazardous response teams showing up here. There's a red tent there. That's where the hazardous materials squad is inside, gearing up in biohazardous suits. That's because a fentanyl lab was found in the basement of this home, and that is one of the most lethal substances law enforcement can handle. So they've got to suit up. But the big picture here is that 4 very young kids were living inside that home. Local 4 cameras are rolling to capture these heartbreaking images of a mother rushing to pick up her 4 children who were discovered this morning living inside a home that state police say was being used as a fentanyl production lab. A boy who looks to be about 10 was carrying a little girl who looked to be around 2 years old. Another boy who looks to be about 4 years old could be seen, and the mother was carrying her newborn baby. All living inside this home on Beaverland on Detroit's west side in ultra hazardous conditions. In the basement of the home, investigators found a fentanyl factory to supply the demand for heroin and dangerous painkillers in Livingston and Washtenaw counties. Fentanyl is an ultra-powerful synthetic painkiller. It's the much stronger and deadly cousin to heroin, 100 times more potent than morphine. Neighbors noticed a lot of traffic at the home, but with so many young children at the home, they never suspected something so hazardous, so dangerous inside the home.
No, not at all. Like, I mean, especially with all the kids living there. Like, I seen the babies and, you know, them carrying the babies and, you know, but nothing like that. That's just crazy.
Back here live, the 4 children that you just saw, they were released to their mother, so they are okay right now. However, that father is in custody on warrants as this big investigation unfolds now. Rhonda, back to you.
All right, Sean, very troubling. Thank you. We are also following breaking news from Dearborn Heights, where a father has pled guilty to the murder of his 4 children. 50-year-old Gregory Green pled guilty this morning to murdering his 4 children last September. Green has pled guilty to torturing his wife as part of his guilty plea. Green will spend at least the next 45 years in prison. His sentencing is set for March 1st. Visitation for Mike Ilitch is underway at the iconic Fox Theater. Our Steve Garagiola is live outside of the theater as many people are preparing to pay their respects to this great man here to the city of Detroit and sports, and certainly a great family as well that we are remembering today.
Boy, that is so true, Rhonda. We are out in front of the Fox Theater. And first of all, I don't want you to get the wrong impression that there are no visitors here. They're using a side door to have folks line up and go into the Fox Theater from the side. This front door will be only an exit for folks to leave. And they're trying to have as many people inside the theater at the same time because it's so bitterly cold outside. But there will be many fans and friends who come say goodbye today to Mike Ilitch. This morning, the wall of tribute in front of Comerica Park continues to fill with messages of thanks from friends and fans. Across the street at the Fox Theater, the public viewing has just opened. as Detroit says farewell to Mike Ilitch.
Boy, today means a lot to Detroit. Mr. Ilitch meant a lot for Detroit. He was Detroit, Mr. Detroit. What Mr. Ilitch represented to me was really honesty and integrity, always doing the right thing.
Among the early visitors today, Red Wings captain Henrik Zetterberg.
His vision of Detroit, when things went bad here, everyone moved out. He moved in. He moved his headquarters downtown and had a vision of what downtown Detroit could be again, and now we're here.
Well, he had such a vision for Detroit, and that vision is developing all around us. The public viewing is opened at noon. It will remain open until 8 p.m. Reporting live at the Fox Theater, I'm Steve Garagiola, Local 4.
He's done so much for our city. It'll certainly be an outpouring, I'm sure, of support there. Steve, thank you. Dearborn Police held a news conference today announcing several major arrests made in the city. During that news conference, Dearborn's police chief Ronald Haddad announced arrests have been made in connection with a violent armed robbery of a jewelry store, a home invasion, and also a homicide late last October. Chief Haddad says that the media and the public are to thank for helping the department make these arrests.
Anytime we need information from our community, you guys go out there, you pour the information out, then we get the information back really quick, and I can't overemphasize the importance of that partnership.
For more information on other arrests made in Dearborn, you can also watch that entire news conference. We have it on our website at clickondetroit.com. We have breaking news out of Washington, D.C. Pentagon Chief James Mattis has told NATO allies to increase defense spending by the year's end, or the U.S. will, quote, moderate its commitment to NATO. And more fallout from the resignation of National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Retired General Keith Kellogg takes over his role. The White House now on defense, with the press secretary stating it was an erosion of trust that led to the resignation. Others aren't buying it. NBC News reporter Edward Lawrence looks deeper into what's next for the White House.
Who knew what when? Familiar questions being asked now of the Trump administration following the resignation of National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Congressional investigations are pending.
I think him coming before us and testifying, if that can be done, would be a very appropriate thing for us to have happen.
If it's an independent commission modeled after others in the past, it can have the subpoena power to bring in this necessary information.
The official explanation from White House spokesman Sean Spicer is their legal counsel went through a deliberate review process to determine if Flynn broke the law. Spicer says he didn't, but about 2 weeks after learning Flynn misled Vice President Mike Pence and others about his call with the Russian ambassador, the president decided he couldn't trust Flynn.
Whether or not he actually misled the vice president was the issue. And that was ultimately what led to the president asking for and accepting the resignation of General Flynn.
To add to the controversy, the New York Times is reporting that a year before the election, President Trump's campaign staff had repeated contact with Russian intelligence officials.
Right now, there doesn't seem to be any sort of normal course of international relations explanation for this.
The Times reports federal agencies tried to determine if there was collusion between the Russians and the Trump campaign, but found none so far. The president took to Twitter saying the real scandal is classified information leaked illegally, not conversations with the Russians. Edward Lawrence, NBC News, Washington.
And it's time now to get a look at our forecast for the rest of the day. And we certainly got off to kind of a rocky start earlier this morning.
We did.
Things have kind of quieted down since then.
They have, and you know, we enjoyed a very nice Monday and Tuesday, and we do have some very nice weather on the backside of the 7-day forecast. But in the meantime, we're stuck in a February chill here for about another 36 hours. 30 degrees right now at Metro Airport, our warm zone, Metro zone. 27 Ann Arbor, 26 Pontiac. It's 28 right now in Adrian, but notice this bottom line right here. These are the wind chills, and they're all in the teens. The winds are whipping right now 10 to 20 miles an hour. These little gold arrows indicate which direction that wind is coming from, and it is out of the northwest. So it will continue to drive cool air in here, and a cold front also approaching. Lake effect clouds, a few flakes and flurries, but temperatures not budging a whole lot during the day today. You see a couple of flakes flying right now in parts of Oakland County, even here downtown, just a few. We'll track this cold front coming up. It is just to our north, and it will bring some more snow chances for your Wednesday. And a better look at that big weekend warm-up coming up.
All right, Brandon, we look forward to hearing about that. In Ecorse, a man police thought barricaded himself inside of a home, ended up turning himself in. The situation started around midnight at this home on Saliotti. This is near Jefferson, and that's where a man fired a shot at his girlfriend. Now, the woman fled the home but left a 4-year-old girl inside. Police surrounded the home believing that the man was barricaded inside as well. Ultimately, it turns out the man was not inside that home. He turned himself in around 6 a.m. The child, while left alone in that home for several hours, is okay. Still to come, Hollywood tackling human trafficking, the surprising star who's taking a stand. Plus, new clues. Kim Jong-un's half-brother found dead. Now a surprising arrest may hold the answers to what happened to him. And we also have breaking news we're following from Detroit's west side, where Michigan State Police raided a home and found a drug lab. Around 8 o'clock this morning, state troopers raided the house on Beaverland by Outer Drive and found that fentanyl lab. During the raid, also 4 children were living inside of that home, and 1 man was arrested. You can stay with Local 4 as we continue to keep you updated on the investigation. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Malaysian police have arrested a woman in connection with the death of Kim Jong-un's half-brother. The leader of North Korea's half-brother died yesterday after becoming suddenly ill at a Malaysian airport. We do want to break here to take the news conference taking place between President Donald Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington.
Soon we'll see the 2 leaders appear in the East Room, where many of the gathered reporters are eager to question the president about the turbulent past 36 hours for his administration, which includes a resignation of National Security Advisor Michael Flynn after he misled the administration about his contact with Russia. NBC News White House correspondent Kristen Welker is in the East Room. And Kristen, I've been peeking at my monitor. I see the First Lady is there. I also note that this press conference is coming before the 2 leaders meet. Talk about the optics of the morning.
Well, they clearly want to emphasize, Lester, the close relationship between the U.S. and Israel. In addition to the First Lady, as you mentioned, Sarah Netanyahu is also here. So that is striking. And this is taking place before the 2 leaders hold their bilateral meeting. But this wasn't the first meeting the White House was hoping for, given all of the turmoil of this past week, given the fact that President Trump's national security advisor resigned. And this also deprives not only the president of the national security advisor being at the table at this critical moment, but also Prime Minister Netanyahu, who sees Flynn as a close ally in terms of pressuring Iran. Lester.
All right, Kristen, here is the president and the prime minister.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Today I have the honor of welcoming my friend, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, to the White House. With this visit, the United States again reaffirms our unbreakable bond with our cherished ally, Israel. The partnership between our 2 countries, built on our shared values, has advanced the cause of human freedom, dignity, and peace. These are the building blocks of democracy. The State of Israel is a symbol to the world of resilience in the face of oppression. I can think of no other state that's gone through what they've gone, and of survival in the face of genocide. We will never forget what the Jewish people have endured. Your perseverance in the face of hostility, your open democracy in the face of violence, and your success in the face of tall odds is truly inspirational. The security challenges faced by Israel are enormous, including the threat of Iran's nuclear ambitions, which I've talked a lot about. One of the worst deals I've ever seen is the Iran deal. My administration has already imposed new sanctions on Iran, and I will do more to prevent Iran from ever developing, ever, a nuclear weapon. Our security assistance to Israel is currently at an all-time high, ensuring that Israel has the ability to defend itself from threats, of which there are, unfortunately, many. Both of our countries will continue and grow. We have a long history of cooperation in the fight against terrorism and the fight against those who do not value human life. America and Israel are two nations that cherish the value of all human life. This is one more reason why we reject unfair and one-sided actions against Israel at the United Nations, which has treated Israel, in my opinion, very, very unfairly, or other international forums, as well as boycotts that target Israel. Our administration is committed to working with Israel and our common allies in the region towards greater security and stability. That includes working toward a peace agreement between Israel and the Palestinians. The United States will encourage a peace and really a great peace deal. We'll be working on it very, very diligently. Very important to me also, something we want to do. But it is the parties themselves who must directly negotiate such an agreement. We'll be beside them. We'll be working with them. As with any successful negotiation, both sides will have to make compromises. You know that, right?
Both sides.
I want the Israeli people to know that the United States stands with Israel in the struggle against terrorism. As you know, Mr. Prime Minister, our two nations will always condemn terrorist acts. Peace requires nations to uphold the dignity of human life and to be a voice for all of those who are endangered and forgotten. Those are the ideals to which we all and will always aspire and commit. This will be the first of many productive meetings. And I again, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much for being with us today. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you.
President Trump, thank you for the truly warm hospitality you and Melania have shown me, my wife Sarah, our entire delegation. I deeply value your friendship. To me, to the State of Israel, it was so clearly evident in the words you just spoke. Israel has no better ally than the United States. And I want to assure you, the United States has no better ally than Israel. Our alliance has been remarkably strong. But under your leadership, I'm confident it will get even stronger. I look forward to working with you to dramatically upgrade our alliance in every field, in security, in technology, in cyber and trade, and so many others. And I certainly welcome your forthright call to ensure that Israel is treated fairly in international forums and that the slander and boycotts of Israel are resisted mightily by the power and moral position of the United States of America. As you have said, our alliance is based on a deep bond of common values and common interests. And increasingly, those values and interests
are under attack by one malevolent force, radical Islamic terror. Mr. President, you've shown great clarity and courage in confronting this challenge head on. You call for confronting Iran's terrorist regime, preventing Iran from realizing this terrible deal into a nuclear arsenal. And you have said that the United States is committed to preventing Iran from getting nuclear weapons. You call for the defeat of ISIS. Under your leadership, I believe we can reverse the rising tide of radical Islam. And in this great task, as in so many others, Israel stands with you, and I stand with you. Mr. President, in rolling back militant Islam, we can seize an historic opportunity. Because for the first time in my lifetime, and for the first time in the life of my country, Arab countries in the region do not see Israel as an enemy, but increasingly as an ally. And I believe that under your leadership, this change in our region creates an unprecedented opportunity to strengthen security and advance peace. Let us seize this moment together. Let us bolster security. Let us seek new avenues of peace. And let us bring the remarkable alliance between Israel and the United States to even greater heights. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Again, thank you. We'll take a couple of questions. David Brody, that's Christian Broadcasting. David?
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister. Both of you have criticized the Iran nuclear deal and at times even called for its repeal. I'm wondering if you're concerned at all as it relates to not just the National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, who is recently no longer here, but also some of those events that have been going on with communication in Russia, if that is going to hamper this deal at all, and whether or not it would keep Iran from becoming a nuclear state. And secondly, on the settlement issue, are you both on the same page? How do you exactly term that as it relates to the settlement issue? Thank you.
Michael Flynn, General Flynn, is a wonderful man. I think he's been treated very, very unfairly by the media, as I call it, the fake media in many cases. And I think it's really a sad thing that he was treated so badly. I think in addition to that, from intelligence, papers are being leaked, things are being leaked. It's criminal action, criminal act. And it's been going on for a long time, before me, but now it's really going on. And people are trying to cover up for a terrible loss that the Democrats had under Hillary Clinton. I think it's very, very unfair what's happened to General Flynn, the way he was treated, and the documents and papers that were illegally, I stress that, illegally leaked. Very, very unfair. As far as settlements, I'd like to see you hold back on settlements for a little bit. We'll work something out, but I would like to see a deal be made. I think a deal will be made. I know that every president would like to. Most of them have not started till late because they never thought it was possible. And it wasn't possible because they didn't do it. But Bibi and I have known each other a long time. A smart man, great negotiator. And I think we're going to make a deal. It might be a bigger and better deal than people in this room even understand. That's a possibility. So let's see what we do.
Let's try it.
Doesn't sound too optimistic, but that's he's a good negotiator.
That's the art of the deal.
I also want to thank Sarah. Could you please stand up? You're so lovely, and you've been so nice to Melania. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Your turn.
Was it Udi Segam? Yeah, please, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, in your vision for the new Middle East peace, are you ready to give up of the notion of two-state solution that was adopted by previous administration? And will you be willing to hear different ideas from the prime ministers, as some of his partners are asking him to do, for example, annexation of parts of the West Bank and unrestricted settlement constructions? And one more question, are you going to fulfill your promise to move the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, and if so, when? And Mr. Prime Minister, did you come here tonight to tell the President that you are backing off the two-state solution? Thank you.
So I'm looking at two-state and one-state, and I like the one that both parties like. I'm very happy with the one that both parties like. I can live with either one. I thought for a while the two-state looked like it may be the easier of the two. But honestly, if Bibi and if the Palestinians, if Israel and the Palestinians are happy, I'm happy with the one they like the best. As far as the embassy moving to Jerusalem, I'd love to see that happen. We're looking at it very, very strongly. We're looking at it with great care, believe me, and we'll see what happens. Okay?
Thank you. I read yesterday that an American official said that if you ask 5 people what 2 states would look like, you'd get 8 different answers. Well, Mr. President, if you ask 5 Israelis, you'd get 12 different answers. But rather than deal with labels, I want to deal with substance. And it's something I've hoped to do for years in a world that's absolutely fixated on labels and not on substance. So here's the substance. There are 2 prerequisites for peace that I laid out several years ago, and they haven't changed. First, the Palestinians must recognize the Jewish state. They have to stop calling for Israel's destruction. They have to stop educating their people for Israel's destruction. Second, in any peace agreement, Israel must retain the overriding security control over the entire area west of the Jordan River, because if we don't, we know what will happen. Because otherwise, we'll get another radical Islamic terrorist state in the Palestinian areas, exploding the peace, exploding the Middle East. Now, unfortunately, the Palestinians vehemently reject both prerequisites for peace. First, they continue to call for Israel's destruction inside their schools, inside their mosques, inside the textbooks. You have to read it to believe it. They even did.
And that does conclude our noon newscast, but you can continue to watch the news conference with President Trump along with Prime Minister Netanyahu on our website at clickondetroit.com.